November 7, 2024. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. It was clearly a small gradual rally that occurred, then this kind of sideways consolidation and another rally, two-legged sell-off, and looked like a two-legged rally. It's kind of how I drew the charts today. Looked like things were fitting somewhat well within this big yellow channel. And then there was this consolidation area and another push up and then this leg down. There was two times where economic data came out that might have moved the market. One was the 5:30 Pacific Standard Time unemployment claims. Didn't really do that much. And then the second one was at 11 o'clock Pacific Standard. This is the FOMC rate decision. They decide to decrease the rate or cut the rates by about 25 basis points. And around 11:30, that's when Fed Chair Jerome Powell, right about here, comes in and starts adding some color commentary as well as answer any questions. So this one was a little more sedated than other FOMC reactions. I mean, it was clearly a bullish day. The election had just ended, and we're pressing at the all-time highs of 6,000, which is right here. And as you can see, we actually shot up higher and got all the way up to 6,013. So that's quite an impressive move. We've never been up here before, so it's kind of a toss-up to really know what's going to happen tomorrow. Will there be a correction? Will the rally continue? Hard to know. There was a few setups that I saw, several almost trades, and then I actually took a single trade and I was profitable. So I'm going to get into the trades right now. So in the pre-market, clearly you could see there looks like what was a spike in a channel because it spiked. So I found this green channel first, and then I found after a few attempts to fit this yellow up channel. And it's just really choppy here as a pre-market. Also right around 5:30 was the unemployment claims. So then the market opens and it looks like it's holding against the top of this yellow up channel pretty well. The first setup that I saw is considered an almost trade. So it's here, it's a new high, bounce off the top, first entry long pullback. It confirms the second entry long. At this stage, I'm not necessarily looking for a long yet. I do keep in mind that the EMA is right there. It's a decent signal bar. The risk is about 8 ticks, so it's not too bad. But I just didn't really like that this could be one leg down pullback and then a second leg down to test the low of this yellow down channel. So I wanted kind of like a higher low confirmation above the EMA, but you have to keep in mind that there wasn't that much room for the highs of this yellow up channel. So this is just kind of very tight range to try to trade. It looked like it worked. Then I also saw this as a new high, say first entry long pullback, first entry long, second entry long, and then looks like a higher low here. It's also a new low here, first entry short, second entry short. This second entry short was made right here. So this is when the second entry short was made. This is when the second entry short has failed and also created a higher low. I call this an almost trade. It's very tempting because it does confirm the second entry long, but I'm really close to the high of day. Also, it looks like today is pressing really hard upwards. So there is a chance, yeah, it could keep going, but it just feels a little dicey for me right now. Plus, you have a doji just 2 candles previously. So it just kind of made me sit on the sidelines. Prices move up. So clearly this top of this yellow up channel resistance is holding really strong. So I like that. I have more confidence in this channel, at least the resistance side. Just pushes down, it breaks below the EMA. It's having trouble. So now I'm thinking one leg pull back and a potential second leg touch this low. That's what I ideally think is going to happen. It actually reverses back up strongly and it holds. So I'm thinking, okay, bulls are still in control. It clearly didn't hit the bottom. What's going to happen? Don't look for a short because that's just risky. Prices move up. It floats up what I think is this orange up channel. Again, it tests the highs of this resistance of this yellow up channel. Then it kind of hits this consolidation area. At first, I thought this was the trading range where this is drawn right now. And it creates, because I also saw this support, I saw 1, 2, 3 potential triple tests, or if I had my channel, my range up here, it's like a multiple test happening here. It's a fail breakout. Maybe there's a trade here. It's kind of an almost trade, kind of based off a hunch. The thing I didn't like was it's at the bottom of the range, which is good. It's a break of this orange up channel, but it already tested the highs. So is it going to make a second attempt? Hard to say. But if you're playing range rules, it is at the bottom of the range and it's coming for a failed breakout. So that's good. It also has a really decent signal bar. But other than that, it was a little ambiguous to me. So I wasn't 100% sure. I decided to just sit and wait. Mainly the EMA is starting to flatten out, but it was below. Would have given me more confidence if that signal bar here engulfed this guy completely and pushed above the EMA. Then it just kind of eliminates all the little things that are making me hesitate on that particular setup. It looked like it would have worked. You have a new low, first entry short, second entry short. This is a decent second entry short, potentially coming off a failed breakout. I just didn't like that it was a counter trend trade, and it looked like it is 2 legs up, so potentially a trade here. But you'd be going against the clearly bullish bias, so I left it alone. And then here's actually where I take my one and only trade. So it's actually a new low here. It's a first entry short, second entry short, creates a higher low. I did find this green trend line support, and I turned it into a channel. So it looks like a third touch confirmation bounce and push up. Now I will admit it's a little bit not the cleanest setup. It's pushing up, excuse me. It's pushing up, it's bouncing off the bottom of the screen up channel. EMA is starting to show support. There is price breaking through the EMA, but as you can tell, the majority of the time since the open and even in the pre-market, a lot of the price action is staying above the EMA. So there are some breaks, but then you see quickly the EMA comes, not EMA, price action goes back above the EMA. Break, price action goes back above the EMA. There's a break, it goes above the EMA. EMA is kind of holding a small little break here, small little break here. So I was anticipating something similar. So I thought this is a possible trade. I like that it engulfed and I entered before this signal bar closed. And so when I entered one tick above here and it came back a little bit lower than where I entered, but I wasn't that concerned yet because I trusted the strength of the support here. And it flushed up, gave me my scalp. And this is where I moved my stop from this double bar, double bottom here to up here. Then I saw it push up. Actually, I moved it up to here. And then when it formed, actually, I didn't move up to here. I moved it from here, waited for this one to close, then waited for this one. Then I moved it one tick below this guy. And that's where I got stopped out. So it did have a little bit of a runner, but it still stopped out before making really any run. And if I had kept it way down here, I would have, been able to ride this up. But then I run the risk of giving profits back from my entry all the way down to here. So I'd be taking away profits from my core position here, which I didn't really want to do. So I was like, if this works, it's great. If it doesn't, that's okay. And these type of setups, I would say the runner only happens maybe 1 out of 4, 1 out of 3 times where it just keeps going without coming back. But most of the time, it's going to stop me out, at least one tick above break even. So I was okay with that. Prices move up. It looks like it's going up this red up channel, but still has a breakout, and it looks like it might be coming back into this green up channel. But more importantly, this yellow up channel is still holding strong. So that's really encouraging. So it hits this consolidation, it starts flushing down. So first entry long. Technically, you have a second entry long here. If this had only been the right color, like bullish, then I think there might have been a trade here because it's bouncing off the yellow up channel, broke this orange down channel, tested the low, it's ready to reverse. But unfortunately, this wasn't the right candle. Then, of course, it follows through. Now it's just too late for this trade. Hits this consolidation area. Technically, you have a higher low here, but when I see this in real time, thinking maybe higher low, then I see this, I said maybe higher low, but I don't like that it's a doji. And then now definitely you have a confirmed higher low. Trade looked like it's already been made. It might be in a range, so I'm not entering at the highs because it still bounce around and chop me up in here. So pretty much there's no trade there. Prices move up. Then I see a higher low here. I actually thought this was a possible trade because it's a new low, first entry short, second entry short. EMA is again coming into strength. It is a higher low because I like that it took one tick below the previous and closed engulfing this entire candle and closed above its high. So that's very encouraging. It's a 10 tick candle, which is pretty nice. It didn't bounce off the yellow, but it already tried 2 times to break through and it failed. So I had confidence that this is probably a possible trade. Looked like it would have worked. Then it hits another consolidation area, breaks out of this green up channel, like a sideways consolidation. It breaks and technically has tested the high, tested the all-time highs. It's making new all-time highs ever. It's coming up, and now I'm really careful watching if it's going to hit the 6,000 point because I imagine there's going to be a lot of people taking profits, potentially short positions there. It pushes down, you have first entry long. Again, I'm really liking this yellow up channel. It's confirming nicely. You have a first entry long. If that's all you get, then it continues making a little bit higher highs and it's getting close to 6,000 point. You technically have a second entry long, but I didn't really like the setup. It's like a first entry long, potential second entry long, but it made a double bottom. I needed to break a little bit below and then close like it did, but it didn't quite do that, so I had to leave it alone. It's chopping, and now it broke through to the 6,000 level, and it looks like it's just kind of an area of like caution because I'm not really sure if there's going to be this big flush down, or I'm not really sure what's going to happen because it did have a heck of a time trying to get up here. The first entry long pullback, technically you have a second entry long, not a good signal bar. There's no second entry short. So now I'm not really thinking of going long yet, but I do think that this yellow up channel might need to test its high. So this could be one leg, which is signaled by this green leg, but there's no clean setup for me to enter. Plus entering down here for a long position makes me nervous because even though clearly the day is bullish, you don't know when this downtrend has played out because it's a break and now it could come back down and test. So it's just kind of telling me to be extra cautious. Plus we're getting close where this candle is to 11 o'clock Pacific Standard. That's when the FOMC rate decision is coming out. So at this point, I'm not even thinking of taking any kind of trade because the next, 10 to 20 minutes, it could get really crazy choppy. And that's exactly what happens. So this happens at 11 o'clock and it starts chopping like crazy. Big candles, just stay out of this noise. And by the time it kind of clears itself out, the Fed Chair Powell is coming out to give his own color commentary. So that makes me just kind of take pause again. It looks like I'm in a trading range. It's a fail breakout, but nothing I feel confident in or feel safe taking. So right now he's just kind of giving his press conference, answering questions. It's just look at the size of these candles. I mean, they're actually not that big. It's like 3.75, actually 5.75, quite big. But in the scale today, they're quite large to what you've been getting previously. So it's just telling me be cautious, wait, be patient. You already got one trade out, don't press your luck. I'm just waiting for a really clean, really bulletproof setup, and I don't quite get it. You can see there's like a couple legs up, but I also saw just one big yellow channel up. No clean second entries. Just things look a little bit noisy. There is a setup here, but it's late in the day, so I consider it an almost trade. This is break this yellow up channel. Technically, there's a break here, tested the high, but if you encapsulated this somehow and you kept all this captured within something like this, then you don't have a break to get here. It's a push up. You have a new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long, decent signal bar. But then here is like a first entry long, second entry long failure, confirmed failure, second entry long, and a new low, first entry short, second entry short. Second entry short confirmed. Really nice signal bar. Potentially in this green down channel, there is enough room at the bottom. The thing I didn't like, it's just too late in the day. I was already green. I just didn't really want to risk it. EMA is not really helping because it's flat, so you don't really add too much reliability on acting as a key entry point. So I just kind of left it alone. But I thought this is I would have considered it a possible trade if it wasn't happening so late in the day after a kind of a pretty action-packed day. Plus, it just came off the all-time highs. Like prices have never been up here at 6,013. So it's coming from the all-time highs. To see, a bounce, not likely. So most likely it might be coming back down. But this yellow up channel potentially could need a test of its high. So there's just a lot of ambiguity going on. Plus, it's late in the day. I just didn't want to take that chance. So I left it alone. The prices kind of chop around. And then it just kind of goes into the last 10 minutes of the day where it just gets, well, unreliable. Where, yeah, people are taking profits, it just gets a little choppy. And so ended up with just one trade today, not a whole lot of setups, and a lot of setups, I was more conservative, so I call them almost setups. So kind of how I saw the charts today. Hopefully that was helpful.